The Great Recession of 2008-2009 was a global economic crisis that had far-reaching consequences across various industries. The recession was triggered by the collapse of the US housing market. A housing bubble had formed, driven by easy access to mortgages, low interest rates, and speculative investments in real estate. The US housing market suffered a severe downturn, with millions of homes going into foreclosure. The housing crisis led to a decline in housing prices, affecting the construction and real estate industries. Major financial institutions, including Lehman Brothers, Bear Stearns, and AIG, faced insolvency or collapse. The global banking system was on the brink of failure. As banks faced liquidity problems, they reduced lending, causing a credit freeze. Businesses, consumers, and even other banks found it increasingly difficult to obtain credit, which crippled economic activity. Stock markets around the world plummeted. Investors lost trillions of dollars in wealth as stock prices tumbled. This had a significant impact on investment and retirement savings. The recession quickly spread worldwide. Export-dependent countries like Germany and Japan saw their economies shrink. Emerging economies faced reduced demand for their goods and commodities. High levels of unemployment were a hallmark of the Great Recession. Many industries, including manufacturing, construction, and financial services, shed jobs as demand plummeted. The US auto industry, including giants like General Motors and Chrysler, faced bankruptcy. The government intervened with a bailout to prevent the collapse of this vital industry. The housing market took years to recover. Government programs and interventions, such as cash for clunkers and homebuyer tax credits, were introduced to stimulate the housing sector. The recession underscored the need for greater transparency, stronger regulatory oversight, and mechanisms to manage financial crises. It demonstrated the importance of monitoring housing markets and the risks associated with housing bubbles. Policymakers recognized the need for prudent lending practices and responsible mortgage lending. The Great Recession led to extensive government intervention in the form of stimulus programs and bailouts for failing financial institutions and industries like the auto sector. The crisis prompted regulatory reforms, including the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act in the US, aimed at preventing a similar meltdown. These reforms focused on increased transparency, risk management, and consumer protection. The recession demonstrated how interconnected the global economy had become. A crisis in one part of the world could quickly spread, affecting economies and industries worldwide. Governments learned the importance of maintaining fiscal discipline during economic booms. It became clear that building fiscal buffers during good times could help mitigate the impact of future downturns. The Great Recession served as a sobering reminder of the vulnerabilities in the global financial system and the need for proactive measures to prevent and mitigate economic crises.